こんにちは、ハリケーンフットボールです。今回の教材は、サッカー日本代表に関する動画です。サッカー日本代表は、3月のインターナショナルウィークで、イングランドと対戦し、1-0で歴史的な勝利を収めました。この歴史的勝利は、イングランドにとってはもちろん歴史的な敗戦であり、選手不在などの言い訳、監督への批判、選手への失望などが主な反応だと思いますが、日本が良いチームだったと言いつつも、日本に負けているようではダメだという見方がまだ多いとも感じます。今回はtalkSPORTSでこの試合のリアクションをしている動画ですが、この動画でも、日本は2、3点取れたとも言いつつ、やはり日本に簡単に攻撃させていっているイングランドに失望しているという感じに聞こえます。実際にどのように話しているのか、チェックしてみましょう。
I'm Ollie Klink, he's Flex, and he's Dan Bardell, who we're using as a false pundit today. We'll see if that works. He's in for Rory Jennings, who's still on his caravan holiday. Bogdan Regis is honestly unbelievable at this time of year. Let's get straight into it, boys. England booed off at Wembley after a pathetic performance against Japan, Flex.
Yeah, it was poor. It was not a good performance at all. And this is why I talk about the England snobbery. You know, guys like yourselves, guys like our producer. Why are we not playing Brazil, France? We play the good teams. Disrespecting these type of nations when we've just had a difficult game against Uruguay, missing players, missing even more players for the second game against Japan. Last time I looked at Japan's results, they've beaten Ghana, they've beaten Brazil, they've gone to Scotland and won. Like, they're in good form. And actually, Thomas Tuchel was talking about it before the game about their high pressing. They play five at the back. It's going to be difficult. So first of all, we need to humble ourselves.
Mate, the aim of the World Cup is to win it.
Yes, I get that.
The aim of the World Cup is to win it.
I get that. But these friendlies, we keep doing this all the time. And this is what I've just been reminded of. It's actually a me thing that I need to remember this always happens. We just keep caring about these pointless friendlies. The last time before we went to the Euros, we played Iceland. We lost 1-0 at home. I look back at that team, 2024. Pretty much the A team. Harry Kane up front. I think Saka was on the bench. Cole Palmer was playing. Foden at the time, he was in great form. He played. You know, I think Pickford was in goal. It was the main team. Rice played, etc. And we got to the final. Like, it doesn't matter. Is Thomas Tuchel doing some things?
Played brilliantly.
But man, we got there. This is why we do this all the time.
Dan, what were your thoughts on last night?
I think Flex is right to an extent. Like, Japan, I think, have won 23 of their last 30, so that they are no mugs. I haven't got a massive problem with the result because I agree with Flex that really the result doesn't matter. It's the performance that bothers me. There are players there that you expect to be busting the gut to try and get themselves into the squad. Some of them are trying to get themselves into the 11 as well. And I just saw nothing really positive that you could take away from that game. So I think overall the send-off series, it's more questions than answers for England, really.
The gents on the sports bar, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy, reacted to the game last night. Here's what they had to say.
Now, I'd love to ask Thomas Tuchel about what he learnt from this camp. He may well have learnt more on the training ground than he did watching these games. Yeah, because probably. It was flat. I can't disagree with you. And you're not going to get an argument out of me. But since Thomas Tuchel has come in, we've done all right. And everyone's going to look back at this last two games and say, we're crap. They don't deserve it.
No,
There's more than just two 90-minute games.
I'm not saying we're crap, Jace, but take out Declan Rice, take out Saka, take out Harry Kane. Right, you're looking at it and you're going, right, this camp has been for players to step up, stake their claim to get in this squad. And none of them, Lewis Hall maybe, I go, bright spark. None of them, really. I look at it and go, yeah. He's on the plane.
I agree.
He's going.
Agree with
Look at that performance. He deserves to be there. That's the whole point of this camp. And I go, what? I mean, what? Seriously, what's happened to Cole Palmer? Is his twin playing? Has he got a twin?
I thought
that ain't Cole Palmer.
That's not fair against Uruguay. That's not fair against Uruguay. He was all right. He played well against Uruguay when he come on.
Oh, well done.
But I'm saying if we're going to criticise evenly, he actually today wasn't very good.
He wasn't very good. He was terrible.
But there's a lot of players in this camp. The last two. But you know what? So what? It's about.
Don't keep saying so what.
No, I'll tell you why it is so what. Because it doesn't really matter.
Firstly, how hard does Jason Cundy look with his new hair?
Love it. Love that
great.
for him. Yeah, he looks good.
But I'm so with Jamie here. I'm so with Jamie. That was a huge chance this camp for some of those players to step up. But I don't think they've been helped by Thomas Tuchel, especially last night. When you look at the fact that Phil Foden is playing as a false nine, you'll be able to tell us as well, Dan. Morgan Rogers out on the right. How many times has he played there for Villa?
More than we would have liked last season, in fairness. But that system's where it all fell down for me last night. Like, you want players to make an impression. You got to give them the tools to work with. That system was something that Lee Carsley tried 18 months ago, and it did not work. Lo and behold, 18 months later, you try it again. We could have probably said that's not going to work before the game starts. You need a focal point. When you've got all those number 10s, you need a focal point. Just having an attack of number 10s, it just looked bitty and disjointed. It was a horrible watch.
I'm with Jason on this. Like, don't get me wrong. Yes, it wasn't a great performance, 100%. But guys, let's just be honest. He's just giving players an opportunity, right, to stake a claim. Some of them haven't.
But none of them did.
No, okay. So none of them did. So then, what Tuchel knows from this, you know, when you said there's more questions than answers, I don't think there is. Tuchel said it himself as well. He goes, "Oh no, I'm closer to knowing what my squad is. We know what it is. Let's just be real. The better players have to play, and the quality behind them isn't where we would like."
Has the camp been a disaster?
That's
Yes
it.
or no?
Well, it hasn't been ideal, but look at the amount of dropouts as well, though. Before this game, everyone said, you're saying the false nine thing. Well, we just played Solanke up front against Uruguay. We didn't win. Wasn't great, was it? So he's gone out with that. Harry Kane was supposed to start. He's trained for 15 minutes and had to come out the training. Can't play. Also, Tottenham are in a relegation battle. I'm not trying to say that it's Tuchel's fault, but he's managing. We all keep crying and moaning. It's too many games. It's too many this. We played the deadest of dead rubbers, yeah, against, opposition that everybody's saying is rubbish. And it's like, we want to see the starting team.
Is it dead rubbish preparation for the World Cup?
Yeah,
and his experiments are stupid.
But guess
don't
what?
make any sense.
Would you have rather we lost these games during qualifications? When he came through, he's won every single game in qualification. Didn't even concede a goal.
Yeah,
the
great.
hardest game we was doing.
Latvia, Andorra.
No, this is what we do all the time. What do we want? We want it all. And then guess what? If we would have spanked Uruguay with the A team, or spanked Uruguay with the B team, or spanked Japan with the B team, guess what? People would have said, well, they're not going to start when it actually comes to World Cup. Or well, it doesn't really matter. It's Japan at home. Not getting excited about that. What do we want? We don't know what we want. We keep looking for things to put under a microscope all the time. Realistically, Thomas Tuchel also can't win because the contentiousness about should he have even been a manager? The German thing, etc., etc.
Now, that's rubbish.
Exactly. But Quaker doesn't like it. Rory doesn't like it. There's a lot of people who just don't like that. So any sort of bad performance or bad result, that's the first thing. Shouldn't even be here anyway.
But that's the same. But Southgate got questioned for loads of things that he did, and we largely performed well in tournaments.
Exactly.
I'd say to you, we're only a couple of injuries away from that being the goalkeeper, back four, and the midfield two in front of the back four. That Japan waltzed.
Could have been 3-4.
Yeah, it could have been more. Japan waltzed.
Could have been our first choice back four. You're so right, Dan.
That's the centre-back partnership, I think, at the moment, because John Stones can't stay fit. I've got reservations about Reece James, not as a player, because he's a brilliant player, and even with Trent there, I'd have Reece James at right back. But I think Ben White's the next one in line at the moment to be the right back, and O'Reilly was poor at left back as well. Japan played through England with ease. Mainu and Anderson chasing shadows for the goal. No, it was Palmer's fault, but they're chasing shadows for the goal. Mainu looked like he's running through treacle. I get what you're saying, that the result isn't important, but there's loads of stuff in there that I think is important, and it's not the right kind of setting of the momentum going into a tournament. I know you've got 2 more games in America that are more important. It's a busy part of the season, but I can't get away from the fact that there's people there who individually they have stuff to play for last night, and they didn't turn up.
And that's an individual issue. That's what I'm saying. Yes, we can look at Palmer and say, mate, you were awful. Like
no,
Damien
but
just
it's
did
also
that. We can look at
managerial.
Foden. And I get it. And we can look at Tuchel. I'm not saying, listen, Tuchel, I don't understand the Harry Maguire thing. I think that's a disgrace. I keep going back to the Trent thing. I don't understand how he's not there. I think that's stupid. So he's got a lot to answer for. I get it. Tuchel's not maybe picked the right team, but you have to also put it down to he'll learn from that. When it mattered, when he had to deliver the qualification, he went 100%, didn't concede a goal. Now he's got to experiment because we keep forgetting that so many players have dropped out of this camp. That is not the team. That team, those 2 teams we've just seen, is not what we're going to see on the first game against Croatia. What we will see, which we'll get to some of the winners and losers, what it does show Thomas Tuchel is don't mess about. Get the better players playing.
But has he made a mistake with this 35-man squad, which surprised all of us? Let's not forget he's come in from club management. I'm sure there weren't many other international managers picking a squad that big. And then going into that first game going, do you know what? I'll give 11U a bit of a break. That then, for me, gives them the excuse to go, right, well, if I'm not in this first game, then I might as well just have a niggle and miss the next one as well.
次は解説です。今回は珍しいボキャブラリーもいくつかありましたので、本日の解説をチェックしてみましょ
You expect to be busting a gut.
う。バスタガットは、 死に物狂いで頑張るという意味の交互表現です。特にスポーツでは、選手が必死に走る、食らいつく、アピールするような場面でよく使われます。かなりカジュアルですが、ネイティブの会話ではよく出てきます。今回の文では、代表に入りたいなら全力で頑張るべきだという批判的なニュアンスがあります。単なるワークハードよりもずっと強く、必死さが伝わる表現です。サッカー英語を理解する上でかなり重要です。
You expect to be busting the guts. You expect to be busting the guts.
Lewis Hall, maybe. I go, bright spark.
ブライトスパークは、頭の良い人や、才能がある人という意味の単語ですが、実際の会話ではニュアンスが変わります。サッカーの文脈では、チームの中で少しだけ良かった選手という意味で使われることが多いです。つまりスターというよりも、唯一ちょっと光っていた人という感じです。また場合によっては軽い皮肉として使われることもあります。今回の文ではルイス・ホールだけが少し良かったという意味です。強い称賛ではなく、控えめなポジティブ評価です。ネイティブの解説ではよく使われる重要表現です。
Lewis Hall, maybe. I go, bright spark. Lewis Hall, maybe. I go, bright spark.
Lo and behold, 18 months later, you try it again.
Lo and behold は、すると驚いたことに、や、案の定という意味で使われる表現です。少し古風な響きがありますが、今でも会話や解説で使われます。本当に驚いた時にも使えますし、皮肉っぽく、ほらやっぱりという時にも使えます。今回の文では、以前うまくいかなかったやり方をまた試したことに対して使われています。そのため、すると案の定、またやったという皮肉のニュアンスが強いです。ネイティブの話し言葉では、少しドラマチックに聞こえる便利な表現です。感情を込めた解説やストーリー調の話でよく出てきます。
Lo and behold, 18 months later, you try it again. Lo and behold, 18 months later, you try it again.
We played the deadest of dead rubbers.
デール・ルバーは消化試合という意味のスポーツ表現です。ここでのルバーはゴムではなく、スポーツで1試合という意味で使われ、デール・ルバーは順位や勝ち抜けがほぼ決まっていて、結果の重要性が低い試合に使われます。サッカーではグループ最終戦や親善試合などでよく使われます。試合の価値の低さを強調するときによく使われます。ネイティブのスポーツ解説ではかなりよく出る表現です。
We played the deadest of dead rubbers. We played the deadest of dead rubbers. The contentiousness about should he have even been a manager.
コンテンシュスネスは論争を呼ぶ性質や物議を醸している状態という意味です。今回の文では、トゥーヘルがそもそも監督であるべきかどうかについて意見が割れていることを表しています。つまり、成績や試合内容とは別に、就任そのものが議論の対象になっているということです。この単語は少し固めで、ニュース、政治、評論、議論の場でよく使われます。日常会話ではあまり使われませんが、意味を知っておくと解説系の英語がかなり読みやすくなります。日本語では論争性、物議、意見の割れなどで訳すと自然です。
The contentiousness about should he have even been a manager. The contentiousness about should he have even been a manager.
Mine who look like he's running through treacle.
treacle は本来、黒っぽくて粘り気のある甘いシロップのことです。しかしスポーツの英語では比喩としてよく使われます。特に running through treacle という形で、足が重い、動きが鈍い、スピードが出ないという意味になります。今回の文では、メイヌーの動きが遅く、反応も重そうに見えたことを表しています。泥の中を走るようなイメージに近いですが、英語では trickle で表現します。サッカー解説ではかなりネイティブっぽい言い回しです。直訳よりも足が重かったと意訳するのが自然です。
Mine who look like he's running through treacle. Mine who look like he's running through treacle.
いかがでしたか？イングランド人は当然のことながら、ハリー・ケイン、ブカヨサカ、デクラン・ライス、ベリンガムなどが不在であったことを一番大きな言い訳にし、出ていますが、この動画でも言っている通り、怪我人が数人出れば、同じようなメンバーになるということには間違いなくある意味、完全にガチのメンバーではないと、日本には勝てないと言っているに等しく、親善試合であり、公式戦でなかったのは、日本も同じであり、イングランドのホームでもあったため、そういった話が出る時点で、もうほぼ互角であるということにも感じます。この勝利の意味がより大きかったのも、日本の方だと思いますし、勝ちたいというモチベーションがより高かったのも、日本の方が強かったと思います。が、一度勝利したことにより、日本よりもイングランドの方が強いとは言えなくなったでしょうから、また今後のイングランド人のリアクションも楽しみにしたいと思います。本日もご視聴いただきありがとうございました。またすぐにお会いしましょう。